the marketable skills that you think they can work on for their careers, successful careers?
अल्लाह मालिक है, देख लेंगे, जाने से पहले मैं पढ़ लूँगा या पढ़ लूँगी. कहते हैं जी वो तो आप जानते ही नहीं हैं वहाँ पे किसी को. Go up to them, introduce yourself to them, build that network, follow up with them on LinkedIn. तो ज़माना अब चला गया है कि जी कोई आप किसी को जानते हैं तो आपको जॉब दिलवा देगा या everybody is competitive, everybody is looking for the best talent. So skill sets तो table stakes हैं. But to get your foot in the door, it's your network that's going to get your foot in the door. Undervaluing doing foundational work that's going to build your capacity for the future.
Assalamualaikum sir, कैसे हैं आप?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. सबसे पहले thank you so much for being with us today.
It's a pleasure to be here.
I'll start with the main question which young professionals really want to learn from you is what are the marketable skills that you think they can work on for their careers, successful careers?
Right. So S&P Global has about 1,800 people in Islamabad. We operate a hybrid work model, so people have flexibility. So we interact a lot with young people since that's a product sort of that we look for. And one of the things, or a couple of things that we talk a lot about with young people that we reach out to in universities is to spend time on understanding the subject matter that they want to, whatever their area of interest is to spend the time in understanding that subject matter and building capabilities. Hamare yahan sometimes there is this concept or perception that if I've studied in a particular area, that's the only thing I can do. That has really changed over the last 5-6 years. People have access to all sorts of skill development programs that can enhance their profile regardless of what they've studied. You should go to college, study what you're passionate about. Once you've done with that, you should go find what you're passionate about in terms of work. Sometimes they will align, sometimes they will not align. But there are opportunities for skill development. So that's thing number one, I think. Thing number two would be, I think the usual, it's cliched, but it's still very, very true, and that's communication. Making certain that you're able to present your viewpoint and your ideas effectively. And I want to be very clear and say that, yes, if you're working for a global organization, the medium of speaking is English, but that doesn't necessarily hold true in all use cases, right? I mean, you have to be able to present your point of view. Sometimes it might be okay for you to present it in a language that you're comfortable with. But the structure, the semantics of what you're saying need to be very, very carefully crafted.
And how you're saying, the confidence, the tone.
Exactly. So know your audience. We get, if I give you an example, we get people sometimes when we go to job fairs, etc. People are standing up in a queue on our booth, and they will, come up on their turn, and then they're like, "So, what company is S&P Global?" Like, you were in a queue, you had your phone with you. Why don't you do a quick search, know about the company? You're investing your time, right? So, I think these two things. Number one, build subject matter expertise and skill sets in the area that you want to be a professional in. And number two, build the skills to present yourself and your strengths and why you are the best person for the job.
Wonderful. What mistakes do you see these young professionals are doing right now? Any 2-3 specific things that you have got?
Sure. One, I just gave you the example right earlier that people lack
research,
of preparedness.
Preparation.
People sort of थोड़ा सा हमारा एक national character भी है ना. We love winging it. अल्लाह मालिक है, देख लेंगे, जाने से पहले मैं पढ़ लूँगा या पढ़ लूँगी. That has to, no matter how naturally gifted and talented you are, it is absolutely critical that you prepare for what you're about to do, whether it is a job interview, whether it is whatever, anything else. So वो habit अगर आप in your university days ही बनानी शुरू कर दें तो it is good. But even if you've not done that in your university days, I know I didn't. I learned that the hard way, perhaps a lot later on. But I think it's absolutely critical that you spend time prepping for what you are about to do some research, get background, so that you can have a more informed conversation. So I think that's number one. Number two would be, I think these days, most universities, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, pretty much across the board, they spend a lot of time curating programs while students are studying that give them exposure to employers through job fairs, other exhibitions, pitching contests. आजकल बहुत सारे होते हैं. We are also part of several of them. Those are fantastic opportunities for students to build a network, and a strong network where they know, HR heads, where they know leaders in organizations.
Oh, yes.
Go up to them, introduce, yourself to them, build that network, follow up with them on LinkedIn, drop them an email, differentiate yourself. So that's another mistake that I see people making.
Still hesitate
or not believing in the power of networking.
Oh,
और फिर हम लोग कहते हैं जी वो तो आप जानते ही नहीं हैं वहाँ पे किसी को.
हाँ.
भाई आप.
हाँ.
That's
the problem.
And that's how the world operates. It's not a matter of वो ज़माना अब चला गया है कि जी कोई आप किसी को जानते हैं तो आपको जॉब दिलवा देगा या everybody is competitive, everybody is looking for the best talent. So skill sets तो table stakes हैं. But to get your foot in the door, it's your network that's going to get your foot in the door, right? So you have to make sure that you're utilizing these opportunities. सिर्फ आप इस तरह के हमारे इस कॉन्फ्रेंस पे आप देख लें बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स मेरे ख्याल में आए हुए. आई हैव बीन अप्रोच्ड बाय मे बी 2 or 1 person so far. Even we have a booth here. Not a lot of people are going out. All companies के इतने सारे booths हैं. Go out, see what they do. जो भी आपको पसंद है उसके पास चले जाएं. Get to
and
know.
at this moment तो I think पसंद ना पसंद तो secondary होता है. You just reach out to as many people as you can.
Absolutely, 100%. So I think that would be perhaps the second mistake that I think people would do.
Okay.
And then thirdly, again, something that's perhaps a more of a habit that sometimes people have, these preconceived notions of what work will be, right? And then I don't know if it's driven by Hollywood or what content they consume on social media these days, or the Netflix show that you're binging. But every career path, I mean, I can't, think of any career path, starts off with you doing, you sort of doing the grind. You have to put in the time and do work that might come across as,
hustle. You have to hustle.
You have to hustle. Absolutely. You have to do that. You can't. So we get young people saying, oh, I thought day one I'll be just,
मुझे तो फोटोकॉपी करने के लिए भेजा बताओ जरा.
चले आजकल फोटोकॉपी भी कोई नहीं कराता यार. I mean, आजकल तो everybody's digital.
Something that I really.
I know, but I'm talking about undervaluing doing foundational work that's going to build your capacity for the future. There is no sidestepping that. You have to perform the foundational work to be able to excel in your career.
You have to face ragra anyhow.
हाँ नहीं, और अगर नहीं भी हो रहा तो खुद लगाए ना आप अपने आप को.
मांगे काम मांगे.
Thinking this work is beneath me. I'll only do that work. I have a very strong belief that in Pakistan, with the talent shortage that we have, every company, we run a technology company, every company that we speak with, technology companies specifically and others generally, they struggle finding the right talent. And then there are people struggling for opportunities. So clearly there's a huge gap, right? We, S&P Global, finds it very hard to, sometimes find specific skill sets. It's because people are not skilling themselves in the right areas, right? So I think that's very, very
I think the 3 advices that you have given बहुत ज़बरदस्त थी, बहुत मज़ा आया सुन के. एक और क्वेश्चन है मेरा, very quickly, do you think degrees are going to be obsolete in some point of given time? Because as much as I see Gen Z talking about it, that okay, we understand कि जो आपने पढ़ा है ज़रूरी नहीं है कि वही आप आगे pursue करें. That's one thing. But a lot of people say degrees का तो कोई फ़ायदा नहीं है, उसके बगैर भी काम चल जाता है. So do you think it's going to be obsolete sometime soon?
So I'm gonna perhaps say something that's not fashionable to say these days. But I firmly believe in it, at least from we're a data company. right? So we believe in the data. The data suggests that foundational skills are going to continue to be relevant no matter how advanced other technologies come out to be. There's a talk about Gen AI and other tools, etc., which is fantastic. They're huge enablers, but they need humans to govern them, to design them, to build them, to give them the problem that they will solve, right? So foundational skills will continue to be important. So I'm not in the camp that believes that degrees will become obsolete. I think the way we give education and degrees has to evolve and change. It has to be more skill based. And young people have an opportunity in this day and age that perhaps did not exist 5 years ago even. And the opportunity is that skill development is available in your fingertips, in your palms, in your phones, in your tablets, in your laptops, etc. Right? You can very easily do Coursera programs. You just have to have. आज से 10 साल पहले अगर आपने कोई स्किल सीखनी होती थी तो आपको या तो किसी के पास जाके उनसे कहना पड़ता था कि जी मुझे सिखा दें, या आपको कोई ट्रेनिंग कोर्स ढूंढना पड़ता था जिस पे आपको बहुत पैसे भी देने पड़ते थे.
Today you have access.
Do you have access? आपको तो कहीं जाने की ज़रूरत नहीं. बहुत दफ़ा ना लोग मुझसे पूछते हैं, young people especially, that what skills should we develop? And my response to them is that, look, again, 5, 6, 7 years ago, that answer was very opaque and was difficult to get to. These days, it shouldn't be difficult. Whatever your area of interest is, whatever your field of study is, go to a company, open its job page, look at the job openings they have, look at what they're looking for in those jobs. That's the skill set that you need. See what gaps you have and go fulfill those gaps using platforms like Coursera and Udemy and there's plenty of platforms for different skill sets. Some people do it, but a very small percentage does it. बहुत सारे लोग अभी भी उसका उस तरह इस्तेमाल
But
नहीं
also, what I feel is the direction which is missing when it comes to universities or colleges, and we talk about like the teachers. So teachers give you direction. YouTube and everything, every other platform will give you the answer which you're going to ask, but the ability to ask right question has to be there, and that drives from the curiosity, the power of curiosity will make you or will allow you to ask right questions to YouTube or any other platform. So maybe the institutes are helping us
accurate.
in that case, right?
100% accurate, and that's exactly why I said that I don't think degrees are going to be obsolete. I think we need to change the way we provide degrees and change the way we teach our kids. I'm also a firm believer that I think changing just university education, it's too late anyways. You have to change from the grassroots. You have to change your primary and secondary education. वहाँ से आप बच्चे में curiosity, critical thinking, innovation, civic sense, ये concepts आप introduce करेंगे तो तब यूनिवर्सिटी में जाके आप उन पे build कर सकते हैं. आपकी फाउंडेशन ही अगर वीक है, बच्चा बचपन से प्राइमरी सेकेंडरी से और चीज़ें पढ़ता हुआ आ रहा है और रट्टे मारता हुआ आ रहा है, या has been in a scheme of study that is devoid of critical thinking or curiosity. तो curiosity या critical thinking कोई इंजेक्शन तो है नहीं कि आप यूनिवर्सिटी में लगा देंगे तो आ जाएगी, right?
True.
So
True.
that's also important to understand.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for giving us these few minutes. I think this was something that a lot of people can learn from, and it was wonderful catching up with you. Thank you
so much. Pleasure to be here once again, and thank you for your time.